Yes, sir. You know, the process for us started over a year ago where we looked at academic standards and we asked the public and several task force what's missing here. And they said, well, listen, you know, when we're talking about American history and you don't have direct references towards where did Thomas Jefferson come up with endowed by our creator, what was he referencing there? When you talk about Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail and he's talking about Bible stories, and yet you're not saying anything about their belief system, Mayflower Compact, et cetera. We knew that we needed to include the Bible directly into the classroom so that kids understood the full historical context of its role in American history. And that has been the document that was under attack by the left. It had been removed from classrooms. And we're saying, listen, we're proud to be the first state to bring it back in a historical context so our kids can have a full understanding of American history.
Why not also include the Torah, where so much of the ethics and morality in the Bible come from, if you want to teach the proper context?
Great question. So we do include all of the other religious texts as well. But Chris, the thing that has come under attack is the Bible. The Bible is the document that the teachers' unions and left-wing activists have had removed from the classroom. We've had multiple threats of lawsuits here in Oklahoma. So they had taken them off the shelves. We're telling them, guys, the Bible has proven to have secular value in its historical context in American history. It has to be included. We're not seeing the left come after these other documents. We allow a lot of other documents in the classroom. It's not exclusive to the Bible, but the Bible is the one that has been under attack and has been removed, and we feel it's essential to get it back in the classroom.
Professor, what is the bar, and do you think this will get over it in terms of being a constitutional implementation?
Well, I hope not, but I can't be sure with the current Supreme Court. Let's remember that if you go back to the history and you quote Thomas Jefferson, you have to quote him in full. Thomas Jefferson was virulently anti-Catholic. He and Adams agreed upon very little, but they agreed that no country that allowed Catholics into the country or Jesuits into the country could ever be a free country. This country was not founded on Christianity. It was founded on Protestantism, anti-Catholicism. In some jurisdictions, people couldn't vote unless they were Protestant. So let's tell the truth about the history. The history was not the history of Christianity or even Judeo-Christianity. It included virulent anti-Catholic bigotry. Are we going to teach that? Are we going to teach the parts of the Bible that justify slavery, that justify treating women as second-class citizens? Or are we going to be selective in what we pick? Or which Bible will we use? The Douay version, which is the official Catholic version, which has been banned by parts of the United States? Will it be the King James version? Will it be the Jewish Publication Society version? Will it include the Quran? Will it include other religious texts and religious books? Will it include atheist tracts, arguments against the existence of God? Are we going to let the students really make decisions? Are we really going to further divide the country along religious lines? We're so divided today. Do we want even greater division? I hope the Supreme Court agrees with that and strikes down any statute or any rule that requires the Bible or the Ten Commandments. Look, I love the Bible. I love most of the Ten Commandments, not all of them, but I love most of the Ten Commandments. Remember that the first four are all religious. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord in vain. God damn it, don't. No, why should we be teaching our students about not taking the name of the Lord in vain? Or I am the God who took you out of Egypt. Yeah, don't kill. Even that's a debate, because the word in Hebrew is lo tirtzach, do not murder. But one version of the Bible says do not kill. Another version says do not murder. We're going to just have fight after fight after fight
I get it.
this.
I get the argument, but let's give the superintendent the last word here. Superintendent, respond, please.
Absolutely. That's the most absurd argument I've ever heard. You're going to go back and say that we can't talk about references to biblical texts in American history. We can't explain to students why Martin Luther King Jr. referenced the Ten Commandments and the Civil Rights Movement and talked about biblical examples in his letter from a Birmingham jail because he's wanting to take this into a theological argument. It's not a theological argument, Professor. This is an argument about history and people in our history who have referenced the Bible and them in their own words claimed it motivated them. Absolutely, our students should understand that. Absolutely, our students should understand understand the historical context of the
People who
founding of our
Bible
country.
just don't
And
teach
so
the
you're
Bible.
wanting to censor American history by not including the faith of the people in our past. That's absurd. Our students have the intelligence to understand why people made decisions in this
have to
country,
tell them about
and it played a crucial role in American history. I know you're trying to talk over me here, but it's really clear.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.